Hi everyone, welcome back. Sorry I haven't been around for the past couple of weeks. But anyway, we're out on the veg garden again today, and I'm going to be repotting my tomatoes and cucumbers. I've had these in these little 3 litre pots now for ages, and they're desperate to be repotted. There's lots of flowers on there, so they really need to be repotted. So I've got the cucumbers here as well. So this is one of the cucumbers. We've already got some cucumbers starting to develop. I don't know if you can see that there, but I'll show you a close up in a minute. But what I'm going to do today is repot the tomatoes and the cucumbers. And I've got 4 of these. So I'm going to do 2 of each into these big pots. So these are 32 centimetre, 12.5 inch pots. White furs. These are made in the UK. $1.99 each. These are really good. So white furs pots are really high quality, quite cheap. So anyway, we'll make a start on that. I'll head over and we'll start potting these up. Okay, guys. So like I said, I'm just going to repot some of these tomatoes and cucumbers. I'm just going to do 1 of each on camera, and I'll get the rest done off camera. But the soil I'm using is just a mixture of normal soil, which has been enriched with my chicken manure compost, and I've also added a half dose of Growmore and a half dose of bone meal. I just picked these up from the pound shop, pounder box, and you get a kilogram in there, so I thought that's quite good value really, so I just grabbed them. Probably don't really need it, but like I said, I've just mixed in some anyway, just to give them a boost. So I'm just going to do these 2 here today. So this one here is a cucumber. This is one of the Chinese Slangians. It's already got a fair few. Whoops! It's got a fair few little cucumbers starting to develop on it. You can see here. So if you see a flower like that, that's the female flower because it's got the cucumber behind it. And I think this is an all-female variety actually, so that may be why they're all female. Anyway, we'll repot that one as well. And I've got one of the tomatoes here as well. I'm not sure what this one is. I think this is a Roma. But we've got a fair few flowers on it. Fair few bunches starting to develop on here. So I'll repot that as well today. So I'll just put the tripod down here, and hopefully you can see what I'm up to. So I've already measured out my soil. I've got a load in the wheelbarrow there, but I've just measured out just enough to do 1 pot, and then I've mixed in my Growmore and my bone meal into this soil. So we're just going to fill the pot up most of the way before we start trying to get them out of the pots and that. So just fill it up almost all the way up. We'll start off with, what shall we start with? We'll start with a tomato, because the tomatoes are slightly different. With the tomatoes, anything that's growing down the bottom here, I'm just going to take off, because it just gets in the way. And we can plant this up to about there. So we'll leave this first truss on because, as I said, this is a Roma, I believe. So we don't need to be removing suckers and stuff, side shoots. But that's essentially what this is here. It's another branch. You see, this has got 2 main branches because the first sucker has been allowed to grow, so it's taken over. But anyway, so we filled the pot up So about there, so we may have put a bit too much in there. We've got to take a couple of handfuls out, and that should be about right by the time we've taken this out of here. So very carefully we're going to try not to snap the main stem. So look at them lovely roots on that. So desperately needing repotting. I'm not going to disturb the roots at all. Sometimes I'll loosen them up if it's really pot bound, but it's not pot bound yet. It's just getting there, so it'll be fine. So we're going to bury this a bit deeper than what it is before, just up to the first set of leaves, or the first truss. So, and then we're just going to fill in around the edge of the plant. I'm hoping you can see me. I'm just going to check on the camera to make sure you can actually see what I'm doing. Yeah, so it looks pretty good. So I'm just going to fill in around the plant now with my compost mix. You want to use all the space you can in the pot. So you've got a pot this size, there's no point in only filling it 2/3 or half the way up, which I've seen a fair few people do that. They'll just put it up to like there or something, and you're losing almost half of the pot if you do that. So you might as well fill it up almost to the top. You only need a centimetre or two gap just to make sure the water doesn't run straight off. But the more compost you can get in there, the better, really. And I've measured this exact, so it should be the perfect amount for this pot. So just filling in around the plant and then pressing it down, firming it down around the plant, quite hard, but not too hard. But that's all there is to it. So I will put some sort of support in here. We'll do that in a minute after I've finished potting on the other ones. So that's that one done. Anyway, so that should be quite happy in that pot now, and hopefully we should get a good harvest of tomatoes from it. So I'll move on, do the cucumber now. Okay, so we're done with this tomato. Move that out of the way, and we're going to do the cucumber now. So I've just filled the pot up that I'm going to use, more or less to where I want it. I haven't firmed it down yet, but what I'm going to do is just empty it into here, and then I'm going to add my fertiliser. So just a half dose, that's like 1 handful, as opposed to 2 to 3 handfuls, and 1 handful of the bone meal as well. So it doesn't have to be exact, doesn't really matter, as long as you don't go crazy and put the whole tub in there, it should be fine. And just mix it in. Give it a good old mix, and then we're going to fill the pot back up again. Most of the way. We've actually got a pot here, we can use this to measure how much we need to put in. Okay, so that looks about right by the time it's settled down. That should be fine. What I've seen people do before is to put the pot in like that and fill in all around the edges, but it just seems like a faff to me. So we're just going to get the plant. So this is one of the cucumbers. So it needs some sort of support, obviously. Otherwise it will just crawl around all over the place because it's a vine. You can see the little cucumbers on there. Hopefully you can see anyway. So we've got a fair few of them starting to develop. Anyway, so we've got to get this out of this pot now, very carefully. So the last thing you want to do is break the main stem. So you can see it's ready to be potted on, but it's not root bound. So there's no need to loosen up the roots or anything, unless it's really root bound and it's wrapping itself around and round and round. Then you can just tease the roots out a bit, just to make sure they don't carry on going around the soil ball. Anyway, so we'll pop that one in there. So that's about right. So with the cucumbers, you don't want to bury the stem like you do the tomato. They don't like it, and the stem can rot at the bottom there. If you mounded up the soil there, it would just all gather around there, and it won't make more roots. It would just encourage the stem to go rotten. So the rest of the process is the same. So we'll just fill in with the compost around the edge. We'll try and let that flop the other way. And just fill in around the edge and firm the compost down as you go. So make sure it's nice and firm, but don't push it right down. You don't want to compact it too much. But again, you don't want to just flop it in there loosely. That should be good. So now all I've got to do is I'm going to make a tripod type support out of bamboo stakes, bamboo canes. So I just got to go fetch them, and then I'll show you how I do that, how I tie them up and stuff. Okay guys, so we're going to tie these up now, and we're going to make a just like a tri support. So with 3 of these bamboo canes. So, and I've just got some ordinary garden twine here. So I'm just going to take some of that off. And get your 3 canes. And just wrap right near the top. Wrap it around a fair few times. And then tie it in a knot. And you should have something like that. And then you can just spread the things apart and try to space them out evenly, and just press them into the compost like so. And then we'll just take some more twine, and I'll probably tie this up in a couple of places. Oops, sorry guys if the camera's going all over the place. Yeah, so I'm just going to take a little bit of the string. So move this tomato out of the way a bit. We'll do that one in a minute, but it's the same process. Just try and get it in between the bamboos. It will grab on its own within a few days. Probably by this time tomorrow, it'll have gripped on with all its little tendrils. But for now, I'm just going to tie it on just once, just so that it doesn't flop around on the floor. And then once it's hooked itself on, I'll probably remove that string before it cuts into the stem. And that's all there is to it. So you're just tying it just to hold it until it can, you see these tendril things, they'll find their way to the canes and wrap themselves up. And they'll be stronger than the string probably anyway. Because what it does is it wraps around, it'll wrap itself around, and then these will dry out and go brown, and they will be quite strong on there. So that's the cucumber done. And it's the exact same process for the tomato. So I'll try and show you again. So we're just wrapping, we're just going to tie it right near to the top. And then take the canes. So you can spend some time getting it perfect. And ideally, you do need longer canes than what I've got. These are only 5-foot ones or 4-foot ones. Ideally, need to be about 6 foot, but that's all I got. So we'll have to make do with them. So with the tomato, it won't hold on itself. So we'll have to tie that in a couple of places. Because I've got the two main stems here, I'll tie one on and then tie the other one on. So just tie one to this bamboo here, and then another one to the opposite one. Just don't tie your string too tight. Make sure you leave a nice loose little gap in the middle. If you can get your little finger in between the string and the bamboo, that's about right. And I'll tie this one onto this one here. And that's all there is to it. Okay guys, so the last thing you want to do is give them a nice water. Give them a real good drink. Just help settle the compost around the roots and make sure it's all evenly moist. Okay guys, so that's all there is to it. So we repotted the cucumbers and the tomatoes into these white furs white fuse, 32cm pots. So I hope you found this video useful, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll keep you updated on all my fruit and vegetables. So thanks so much for watching. Hope you all have a great week or weekend. It's Thursday today, so last day tomorrow, and then we've got the weekend. So I'll try and get another video done for the weekend probably. But that's about it for today, guys. So hopefully not too long. Hopefully it wasn't too boring for you. But if you found it helpful, if you could subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Feel free to comment and please like the video. I'll see you next time, guys. See you later.